All right, we're back for another episode of Shoot the J. To my left, I got Don Jackson. Boy, that jumper looked right, Don. The one you just shot, that one looked real good there just then.
You didn't see my needle.
Oh,
you didn't see the left needle. Left knee is bandaged up and been iced up, man.
It looks good from the waist up, huh?
It's sad. Older you get, the tougher it gets.
Did you play recently, Don?
No, just hard work tearing me down.
Exactly. And then below we got Tyrone Jackson. As always, there we go. Put it again.
Last time you skated on your first sound, Ty.
Yeah.
Trial and error. I'm gonna get it right. Don't worry. Well, guys, this week we're back again, everyone, with another episode. First thing we want to talk about, there was a big upset in the boxing landscape yesterday or this weekend.
Wait, Red.
What? What
are we drinking, bro?
Oh,
thank you, Ty.
Goodness, I'm messing up. Tyrone, thank you so much, bro. I'm about to mess up our first segment. Tyrone, what are you drinking? Let's start off with you.
Some hot Spitfire cinnamon whiskey.
All right, Don?
A little rum and ginger ale, on the lighter side today, you know what I mean?
Well, gentlemen, after a hard day on the bus, all I got is lemonade, strawberry lemonade in this cup.
Oh, wow.
Well, I thought you'd had something a little stronger than that with a hard day on the bus.
No. Lily made this for me. So strawberry lemonade with real strawberries that Lily made and Tanya assisted. So.
Cheers to National Daughters Day for Lily.
All right.
Just got off the roof of the bus just maybe 20 minutes ago.
How's it taste?
Very good.
Okay, just check. Check your vital signs, bro. They might be trying to get rid of you, bro.
No, he's too valuable. We got to stay around, Ty.
Right.
Oh, they ain't trying to get rid of me.
Oh, yeah. No, we got to keep him around. I'm the godfather around this bad boy.
That's right. You got to take care of it. That's right.
And he got a smart daughter. The smart daughters cost money, man.
Uncle T, I've been looking at your mutual account. You're not getting a good rate of investment back.
It's going to be mutual of Omaha Wild Kingdom around this bad boy.
Every man for himself with the finances.
Right.
The Wild Kingdom. Well, guys, our first topic, which I alluded to earlier, was a big upset in the heavyweight landscape, or just the boxing landscape. Anthony Joshua, holder of 3 belts, lost to a glorified cruiserweight, Alexander Usyk, Saturday. He got outpointed, beat up throughout the whole affair. Give me your thoughts on the fight itself and how is this going to change the heavyweight landscape?
Can I go first on this one?
Go ahead.
Go right ahead, Tiger.
This is not an upset. Why do people think it's an upset? First of all, Usyk's been fast-tracked to get in there anyway. So everybody knew there's no way Usyk's supposed to jump Dillian White, supposed to jump Ortiz, all these other people who've been waiting. So they've been fast-tracking him to get up there. He's tailor-made for Anthony Joshua. He's southpaw.
Yep.
Last one that he lost, that he redeemed himself, was against the southpaw. He probably would have lost that one too if your boy didn't show up after eating at all the Taco Bells that he was, going through all the cities and stuff. And the guy got fast hands, fast feet, and Anthony Joshua be looking like the mummy sometimes, right? So he was tailor-made for him. But they didn't put Usyk in there with Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury. Fury got it just as fast hands as he does. But they fast-tracked Usyk to get there. So I knew that was going to happen. It's just like when Roy Jones fought for his heavyweight champion. He didn't fight a bona fide heavyweight, So, yeah, it's not an upset. I knew that was coming. Now, if he could defend, I know Anthony Joshua got a clause in there, a rematch clause, but they may buy him out of that rematch clause.
And what does it do for the landscape? The second part of the question, heavyweight landscape.
It's more convoluted, but they just you think about it, it brings intrigue because the Klitschko's had that belt for so long and they held that division for so long. So it puts it back in the hands of Russia and Ukraine and stuff. And so you got another whole base. It's kind of like the same thing when they let Chris Paul go to the Clippers instead of the Lakers, he created another team that could bring in funding. Well, you know, with the Russian and Ukraine and all that coming in, and back there, it's going to just like Lomachenko did for the division. It just made more fans come in. So,
Okay.
you know.
Don?
I've been saying Anthony Joshua was a paper champion. You got big muscles. You're sucking up a lot of oxygen while you're in the ring. If you take him the distance, you can beat him. Period. End of story. I've been saying, you know, he was tailor-made for Deontay Wilder. I mean, tell you the truth, anybody that's up and coming as a contender could beat him. Look at what Ruiz did. There's not enough rematches for Anthony Joshua to stay in the fight game and hold the belt. So this is tailor-made for Deontay Wilder. If he goes in focus, executes his plan, and gets Fury out of there, he can take this belt and finish these bums and be a united heavyweight champion for America. That's what I'm looking for.
That's good stuff, fellas. You're right, Tyrone. That's not an upset. And Don, I agree with you. Like Mr. T, he's a paper champion. You know, Mr. T said. So my thing is with Eddie Hearn. Like I said earlier via text, Anthony Joshua should put a hit out on Eddie Hearn. The way he's messed up his career. You had $100 million fight with Deontay Wilder, money in the hand. Shelley Finkel and Frank Warren money rolled it, $100 million in hand, and you didn't want him to lose his undefeated status. So you moved him around, and he lost to Ruiz instead. And Tyson Fury got in there, and Wilder lost to Tyson Fury. You had $100 million on the table. Now, what's the next $100 million fight for you, Anthony Joshua? You lost to a guy he had to bulk up to get to 210 pounds. Now, everybody knows I could wake up out of bed about 230 pounds. You know what I mean? This is a guy who had to gain 40 pounds to get to a heavyweight and beat you. So Eddie Hearn, in my opinion, has really messed up Anthony Joshua's career. Okay, yeah, on the side of wins and losses and holding the belts longer, okay, yeah, you did your job. But so far as getting that man maximum return for minimum effort, he screwed it up bad. And another thing Eddie Hearn does is he only has Anthony Joshua fight against matchroom fighters. And that's because he's Anthony Joshua's manager and he's also Usyk's manager. So he's going to get 33% of Anthony Joshua's take and 33% of Usyk's take. And that's why he has them recycling all these guys over and over again. He's going to fight Dillian White about 2 times. He's going to fight Usyk about 2 times. So he can get 30% here and 30% here. So it's really convoluted, the heavyweight division. We were on path to have a championship, a unified champion with Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder fighting Anthony Joshua. He was taking care of business. Now you got Usyk with a belt. Whoever comes out of this Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, they're going to have to wait until Joshua fights Usyk again, and they may have to fight a mandatory in there. So if you imagine if Tyson Fury wins, he might have to fight Dillian White somewhere in between there. Or he might have to find Ortiz in there, or F.A. Ajaba. And same thing goes for Deontay. His mandatory is Dillian White. So it's just pushing everything back farther down the road.
Here's the thing. Anthony Joshua needs a new trainer. Why are you trying to box a guy who's a slick boxer?
He got 3 trainers. How many more you want him to hit? He got 3 right now.
I said lose a trainer. Don't gain another one. Take the rest of them out. Why are you not throwing your weight around this dude? You're not leaning on him. He's gonna fight from distance on this dude? Man, you should get in close, use your size. He didn't do that with Ruiz. Me and Don was watching the fight. I said, man, before the fight started, I said, man, Ruiz got fast hands, man. He's a fast fighter, man. You got to impose your will on little dudes like that, bro. You can't play around with him. Usyk's coming in, and Usyk was like trying to get him out of there. I saw some of the clips. He was trying to knock him out in the 12th round. I was like, dude, that's supposed to be your round to knock him out. And he's feeling bad because he staggered you, but didn't knock you out. Now, how is the man who's up in points is just going to take the fight to you in the 12th round? He's supposed to be riding around on his bicycle.
He left no doubt. He went for it at the end just in case it was a judge's decision.
Right.
And as you said, Anthony Joshua met him in the middle of the ring, and Usyk was darting in, darting out, hitting him with the same left hand over and over again. When are you going to bully this little man and let him know he's not supposed to be in the heavyweight division? Put your shoulder on and come forward. You called him a mummy early. Don't try to box him. If you want to beat a mummy, beat a mummy. The mummy walks forward. Walk forward. Put your shoulder on that clown. Smash him. Hold him. Press down on him. Push him down. Take all his legs away from him. Hit him on the shoulders. Hit him on the elbow. Bully him is what you're supposed to do. You can't outbox that little guy.
No. Now you say it, mummy, but you did Frankenstein's signature move.
right.
It's the same guy who plays the mummy and Frankenstein.
Be a monster.
Yeah.
In other words,
Boris Karloff, either way.
Boris Karloff played all of them, right?
Played all of them, exactly. So our next topic is vaccinations in the NBA. Right now, Andrew Wiggins has refused to get vaccinated. What does this mean for the NBA? He's not the only player. The best point guard on flat planet Earth, Kyrie Irving, also has not been vaccinated as well. And New York also has a home venue vaccination mandate as well. What does this mean for the NBA? What does this mean for those two players?
Well, I'll jump in here. I mean, I just think that everybody has a right to their beliefs. But when you're working for an employer and they set the ground rules, then you need to follow suit. It's just like going to school. You have to get your mumps, rubella, measles shot. Nobody, balked at that when that was a requirement, that you had your chicken pox vaccine and all of that stuff. All of a sudden, because we're talking about COVID now, there's this huge issue about people having their right. But, also people who are healthy and safe want their right to stay healthy and safe. So I think, you have to weigh whether or not your decision is going to affect others and how does it affect others. And I think people have to step outside themselves and really look at this matter as, what's best for all and all people. So, Wiggins is going to have to learn a hard lesson, and so will Kyrie Irving. And this is not Kyrie's first time learning a lesson. Actually, recently he was mentioned as a part of a trade, but KD stopped him from being traded to Philadelphia 76ers for Ben Simmons. And I know we'll get into that a little later, but if I was Kyrie, I'd start stepping up and getting with the program. Wiggins, could be one of the best players we've never known if he doesn't get himself together.
Well, he could be, to add what you're saying, Don, he could be mentioned in a trade too, because you get Klay Thompson back, and that's who's Andrew Wiggins is competing against at that spot. He's going to lose some touches anyway. Now you factor in that he can't play for home games. Maybe I will go for that Ben Simmons trade. Maybe I would go for something like that. Philly doesn't have any restrictions. Kyrie, on the other hand, he's the Kanye West of the NBA. You know what I'm saying? So you never know what this cat going to do. He might be rapping. He might be doing movies. He might be in his feelings. He might be out of his feelings. You never know with this cat, man.
Everything but staying healthy.
Yeah, right. But I called that from the beginning. I was like, he was 10 vittles without LeBron. He never made a full season without LeBron. Just think about that. So, and with Wiggins, there is a religious exemption. They didn't let him get the religious exemption because, Don, to your point with the measles and the mumps, Jehovah's Witnesses, they never take any of those inoculations and stuff, and other religions. But Andrew Wiggins had to prove that he was religious, I guess. Guess they had some snapshot pictures of him or some Instagram pictures of him acting not religiously. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he was taking real shots.
You got to know this woman in a religious sense. Maybe they taking shots, You knew this woman in the religious sense of the word, sir.
Right. Oh, if I was Andrew Wiggins, I would say, I had my first shot. Now here's my second shot.
Is that the Pfizer or the Johnson & Johnson? Which one is that?
That's Bell Biv and DeVoe.
Poison.
I didn't know that he claimed a religious exemption, which is certainly his right to do that. And I don't want to criticize him for his religious convictions. But we'll see just exactly how convicted you are shortly. If they didn't make an exception for him, is he going to lose salary because he's not playing home games? Is he going to get like half a check for however long this lasts? That's curious to find out. Now, Kyrie, for example, I think this dude's just trying not to play home games. He sat out about 20 something games last year, and then he said he had personal reasons, and they found him on Instagram at a club or something, or a birthday party or something. So he's not fooling anybody. I don't think he's doing it because of religious reasons. But you never know with this guy, man. The guy's so Michael Jackson off the wall, bro. You just don't know what this guy is thinking about. You know, he might really believe half of this stuff that he said. You know what I mean?
Hey,
I can't have him on my team. I don't care how talented. I need a guy that's going to show up and put in an honest day's effort on the court if you're playing on my team.
That's you know, got too many antics, if you ask me. He's taking a page out of a Hollywood diva book. Like, you know, he's taking acting to the head. Bro, you did a couple Dr. Pepper commercials and a movie that was just straight garbage. Stay with the little vignettes, bro. Come on, man.
You don't like Uncle Drew? You didn't like that movie?
Come on, man. How many people you gonna be begging out the nursing home to play basketball? Everybody know you in a costume. Come on, man. You fooled people one time when you did the Pepsi commercial, but everybody said, "Oh, that was Uncle Drew." Okay, we know the gig is up. Come on.
Now, especially a 7-foot old dude that's 80 years old and Shaq. Where you finding him at?
Right.
All of a sudden, a dude that's dressed like Grady is shooting 3-pointers on a court near you. Come on, man.
And full court. Don't forget that.
Full court. Playing full court ball. They ain't show no footage of him running up full court. They just showed him in the half court set. As if he was limping. Come on, man. Get out of here, man. How many times?
You know, Nate was able to dunk when he got out the wheelchair. My legs are atrophying right now.
Behind the keyboard, aren't I wrong?
Right. And you gonna get him to play on some old Converse? Have you ever tried to play on the court with Converse on?
No.
Old Converse canvas?
Not no flat boys.
No.
You talking about getting your ankles broke? Put some of them Converse on and see what happens. Look at that, you slide.
You could do the Michael Jackson Smooth Criminal in them Converse.
I can't stand a little Kyrie Irving, bro. Last week it was Ben Simmons. I can't stand, bro. And this week is Kyrie Irving. There's always somebody, man. Damn.
He was on your team, bro. He was on your Cleveland Cavaliers team, bro.
I know, bro.
That was a great shot he hit for y'all over Golden State.
I enjoyed him when he was playing with us, but you know, also he didn't have a whole lot of antics going on while he was playing for Cleveland. I don't know who kept him in check, but maybe that was it. They must have figured a way, just like the Bulls had to figure a way to keep Rodman in check. Cleveland must have figured a way to keep him in check and keep him talking team.
While he was robbing,
he
was robbing, he was in check. But as soon as he called himself Batman, that was it.
Oh, everybody think that Batman till the Joker run out with a crowbar. Beat the devil out you.
I'll tell you.
Then you realize how tough it is to be Batman when you got to face these crazies.
right. The Joker's like, hey man, last time I saw Batman in LA, the Lakers. Oh, let me ditch this little Robin right now.
Bam.
Ain't nothing but Robin in the black outfit, man.
That's nice chicken wing, man. That's what that is.
Right. Little Manchu right there.
All right, guys. Our final topic is a bit controversial. Okay. That topic is should transgender MMA fighters fight women? Okay. Recently, we had the fight between Elena McLaughlin and Celine Provost in an MMA match. Okay. And Elena McLaughlin submitted Celine Provost in that match. The previous matches before that, 2 women had their skulls fractured in a fight with transgender fighters. Okay, what is the take on this? Should transgender men who identify themselves as women, should they fight women or play against women in sports or compete against women in sports?
Well, I'll start this one off. So let's take a page out of the Olympics. They have the mixed track situations, right? And you can
Competition,
mix
right.
up you can mix up your thing, whatever you do it. And whenever you see the men run against the women, now, first of all, they say the biggest the situation that women probably could get close to men in the next 10 years is long distance track running, racing,
Okay.
because they're physiologically speaking that they could close the gap with the distance because the long distance, but they never said it with sprinting. Now you bring in mixed martial arts and boxing, that's a whole different thing. Just physiologically, it's not the thing. But if, like, I go back to the Olympics, you can see those races whenever they have the women racing against the men, that strategy doesn't work. They get blown out the water. So you have to have the men racing against the men, match up, and the women racing against them, and figure out what leg you'll put either of them. That's the strategy. So I have no problems with a transgender athlete saying I identify with being a woman. However, if you're going to fight against the men. You want to make it equal, you could fight against the men as a woman. And make sure, because the Elena was 138 pounds, and the other chick was 138 pounds, but almost like 6 feet. But if you watch that fight, and the other chick was highly skilled, was just hitting her with knees, all kind of things. And the one that's unskilled just came in there and just ate up all those things. Now imagine if Elena was a skilled MMA fighter, could have killed that girl in there, could have killed her. So if you want to fight a man, or if you want to race a race against the men. Don't slip into a class because you're not winning the men's races. You're gonna go and slip in there with the women and race against the women. You can identify as female or have a trans league, but it's just not fair for boxing for you to come in there. You could really, it's already a brutal sport, so you could kill somebody.
All right, Don?
I agree with Ty. I mean, I have nothing against transgender, male or females. I agree with Ty. I think a transgender league would be better. Whenever you're looking at the physiological makeup of men and women, it's definitely different. And when you matching up men and women according to weight, it's not the same as if you're matching a biological man with a biological man. I'm sorry, it's just not the same. And there's a reason why there's weight classes even in boxing with men and even in boxing with women, because you wouldn't match up a heavyweight female with a lightweight or bantamweight female because of the propensity for the lighter weight female to be hurt and hurt badly. So even though a person is transgender, they still have the physiological makeup that is backing up whatever their body makeup is. And that's something that you will not change, even if a person labels themselves transgender. And I think they should be able to have their own boxing league or MMA league to compete against, so it's fair, because we're talking about people's health and well-being here. And if you're going to do it the right way, you have to look at that. You shouldn't put a woman versus a man. Nobody is going to want to see that happen if you had just a regular heterosexual male versus a heterosexual female. No one wants to see a woman get battered. If anything, people are going to go to jail if a bout like that takes place. So, you got to do justice to people and safety first.
I agree with everything y'all said. Gender is a social construct. Okay, in America, we've normalized the two genders. If you go to a place like Guyana, it's socially accepted to have 4 genders. Okay, it has nothing to do with sex. Okay, or your sex chromosomes. There are 4 genders. And in some areas of Polynesia, there are 4 or 5 genders. Okay, you calling yourself a woman, that's fine. You can call yourself whatever you want to, however you identify. In your mind, if you grew up thinking that you were trapped in the wrong body, I understand that. But when you're talking about sports and you're talking about biology, if you're over the age of 15 or 16 years old, your body has been bombarded with testosterone if you're a man, okay? And because of that, your shoulders have broadened. You have way more bone density than women do. You have less fat. Your hips are narrower. The reason why women suffer ACL injuries way more than men is because their hips come out and it puts pressure on their femur, their legs. So it puts pressure on their knee. So their knee is prone to snap. Those knee ligaments are prone to snap, okay? You've had the benefit of testosterone coursing through your veins for about 20 years before you decide that you want to be, before you make this transition into a woman, okay? And so with that, that is an unfair advantage. It's just like putting a man out to play again in the WNBA, okay? That is an unfair advantage, okay? And so you can feel like you want to call yourself whatever you want to call yourself. You can go to the women's restroom and all of those different things. But when you talk about competing, as Don said, you have to be on equal playing fields. Now, this woman, Elena McLaughlin, she was a former Navy SEAL, okay? This is the person that's walking in, okay? This is not a fair fight, as Don said. This is not a fair fight, okay? I like what Don said about having a league of transgender fighters, of people who identify as one gender or other, and have your own league. But this is not fair at all. Even up to the Olympics, they were saying they're going to monitor the transgender participants' testosterone, and if it's below a certain amount, they'll allow them to compete. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't matter if you have it in your system now. It's that your body developed on testosterone, that your ligaments, your joints, your bone density got stronger for about 15 or 20 years. It doesn't matter how much you have in your system now. Your body has benefited from that, and this is athletic competition.
I wouldn't mind if you competed against the men. I mean, you can, have long hair, dress like a female, whatever. I mean, especially like something like basketball. There's the first. There was a female of origin birth football player that scored a touchdown in high school on a men's team, and she actually scored a touchdown. That's cool. When she gets older and if she gets into college, the competition is going to be higher. Will she be able to be strong enough to deal with that situation? And God forbid the NFL, some of these hits that you see Aaron Donald doing, that could take a woman out. But if a man is a transgender and he identifies as a woman, go play for the Rams. Go play for whoever you want to play against, if you want to play against the men, because when you were born a man, you have a physical advantage. And then like you said, David, if there's other genders, if you're non-binary, whatever, that's fine. You can have that league or what have you. It's just a really, in a sport like boxing, where your life is on the line, that's just truly unfair. But track, you can't really get hurt running track. And I feel for the women in track, they say, well, we're at the highest level of our sport, and some of these guys who identify as women come in and they're just taking over our sport. But you're not going to get killed either. Like boxing and MMA, come on, man. Just like Don said, there's weight classes and stuff like that, or maybe Dave said it. That's an unfair advantage, to fight somebody like that. I remember Pros versus Joe's, Arturo Gatti, who was a small fighter, was fighting against these 200 pounders, and he was like, man, he said, man, I got to be real careful because these guys are 200 pounds. And I'm like, bro, but you're like a world-class boxer. These guys are just Joes. He's like, man, I still could get hurt. And that's a world-class, and he was dealing on him, but he did it at a distance, man. He mixed him, got out of there, because if all it takes is one punch and he could have been gone. That's a world-class boxer. So, yeah, it's just a strange thing. They need to have some parameters. It's going to take somebody to get hurt really bad or get killed for something to happen.
Tyrone, how much more can they get hurt? She fractured two other women's skulls. How much? I mean, what? Somebody's going to die because they've already been hurt in the ring. I mean, right. She didn't win this by tactical skill. She submitted this other woman. Is what she did. I mean, they did an interview with Layla Ali when she was on top as middleweight champ, for ladies boxing. And they asked her, would you fight a man in your similar weight class? And she said, well, number one, I spar with men to get my to get my skills sharp. She said, but what I've noticed with sparring with men is they can take a lot more punishment than women can. She said, normally with women, if I hit them with 2-3 good shots, it's over. She said, but I hit the men, they keep coming. And she said, and I deteriorate a lot faster when they hit me. I noticed when they hit me, it's only like 1 or 2 of those shots that I can take. And they can take all of my shots. And she said, it doesn't have anything to do with my skill. It's just that they're just stronger and they have that bone structure. Particularly when you're talking about your fists and your knuckles and you're talking about your jaw and your skull is where you're getting hit at.
And one thing that I'm a big proponent of is let them decide for themselves. You know, they should have some roundtable meeting. Like when we talk about Black issues and stuff, let us have a chance to talk about our issues and deal with them. So
have them at the table, what you're saying when
yeah, I would hope that the MMA would have a panel together of transgender athletes and say, let's talk about what's going on, you know. So it needs to happen. As a Black man in the United States, I'm thankful that I have a voice now that people are more apt to listen. But we didn't have that voice before. And people fought hard and died and gave their lives for us to have a voice. And so those people haven't had a voice either. So let them have a voice in this matter and see what's going on. But I dare say that if somebody gets killed, it's kind of like the domestic violence issue when what's the running back, Ray Rice. It wasn't until people saw the video of him knocking out his wife in the elevator, or his girlfriend at that time, in the elevator, that they were able to make moves for domestic abuse. And that's what happens sometimes, killing Black people, George Floyd. It wasn't until we have our cameras rolling that people see these things happening. And that's a shame. So we should really hope that this thing gets resolved so somebody doesn't get killed before we have any justice for it.
That's a very good point, Tyrone. That's a very and let me just add one more thing. Why is it that you don't see transgender women who identify as male competing in male sports? Why is it always that way around? Where it's the men who identify as women competing in women's sports. Why don't you see a woman who's transitioned to a male or identifies as male competing in male sports? It's because I don't
know if you can answer that question, Dave. You should have a guest next time and ask that, because whatever a person's motivations are, I can't speculate what it is. You know, I don't want to try to speculate what it is and put a voice to somebody who's not here to voice their own, you know, situation. So, you know, maybe that's something we have another time, have a guest on that can accurately answer it. Because if I answer it, I'll be coming strictly from a binary male point of view, and that's not for me to say.
That's good. That's a good comment. I'm going to work on that. If anybody wants to know someone in the comment section, put them down to go on our next show, because we do want to expand our minds on this particular topic, and maybe there's going to be some things that a person who's in that realm will understand that we don't understand. As Tyrone said, we're all binary. We all identify as heterosexual males, and so we don't know that mindset. So maybe next time, come on and give us a point of view, enlighten us on some things that we may not know. We'd love to have you on. I think that'd make for a really interesting show. Everyone, please get vaccinated. If we didn't mention that last time, hopefully in a year we'll put an end to this so we can all travel freely. Go Saints. Good job, 2-1 for the Saints. Jameis Winston, Taysom Hill, and the defense played phenomenally. Alvin Kamara as usual. That's all good.
We'll see what's going to happen.
All right. Well, gentlemen, thanks again for your time this week. We'll get this posted, and we'll see y'all next time on Shoot the J.